Yo guys, it's Blazed Apples, and today we're going to be talking about Maria Robotnik, including who she is, her impact and legacy on the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and more. Now before we continue, make sure that you like the video and subscribe for more Sonic the Hedgehog videos, especially ones about Shadow and his origin and his story and everything related to him. By giving us a thumbs up, you'll be supporting greatly and helping these videos reach more people. So without further ado, let's talk about the history of Maria Robotnik. Maria Robotnik is the granddaughter of Professor Gerald Robotnik, the creator of Shadow the Hedgehog. She is also the cousin of Dr. Eggman. She grew up on the space colony Ark due to her suffering a terminal illness called neuroimmune deficiency syndrome, which requires her to remain in space to keep her condition somewhat manageable. She is, however, still very weak and frail, unfortunately. She longs for the day that she can visit the Earth, and she looks down at it from the windows of the colony. She spends most of her time with her grandfather and he looks after her, but she is also shown to have a friendship with the future gun commander, now known as Abe, with the commander describing his relationship being as a brother-sisterly bond with her. Since her disease is incurable and she was getting worse over time, the professor agreed to work on Project Shadow, which was a government project put in place in order to develop the ultimate life form. It would be immortal and help even cure the most incurable diseases. This of course led to the creation of Shadow the Hedgehog, and Shadow and Maria became very close friends and spent much of their time aboard the Ark together. The professor and Maria were his family, and he did whatever he could to protect them, even when experiments ran wild and were out of control. However, eventually the government became very skeptical of Project Shadow and sent the military to raid the Ark and eliminate everything related to the project. Whilst fleeing from the military, Maria pleads with Shadow to help the injured researchers along the way. Shadow defeats a gun mech as well, and they head on to the escape pods, where Maria pushes Shadow into an escape pod to try and save him. As the escape pod is about to launch though, the gun soldiers have caught up, and one of these soldiers shoots Maria dead. With Shadow locked inside the pod, helpless as his closest friend gives him her dying wish to please protect the world and give them a chance to be happy. Shadow, while still processing everything, gets launched in the escape pod but is later captured anyway and later frozen in isolation until the events of Sonic Adventure 2. I know it's become a bit of a meme in the fandom lately, but this is a pretty messed up scene. This is very messed up. Like, how can they just mercilessly gun down a sickly little girl, Probably the darkest moment in Sonic history, I'd say, and it's definitely one that has traumatized Shadow for life. As for her legacy though, I'd say she helped Shadow realize the potential that he had for good, and was also a big character motivation for him in Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog, to the point where she gives him the second win that he needs in order to stand strong and beat the final boss of those respective games. I don't know why the gun commander though would go and work for the people who killed his friend though, honestly. That just seems kind of weird to me. And he kind of just blames Shadow and the professor for everything without knowing the full, context of what happened. The professor was later driven mad by what happened and altered Shadow's memories. This happens after he was captured and then later forced to continue his research against his will despite being driven mad. And he basically alters Shadow's memories to carry out a revenge plot that was later abandoned because Shadow regains his true memories and realizes that this was not Maria's true wishes. As for Dr. Eggman though, we don't really find out a lot about his thoughts and relationship with Maria until Sonic Frontiers, where we get this unlockable audio which gives us a lot of insight.
I never really knew my cousin Maria. Everyone spoke of her like she was very special. All that love for someone who was gone when I was right there. But I have to wonder, back then, was she anything like Sage is now?
So maybe it's possible that Sage was kind of modeled off of what he thought Maria was like, or how he saw her. I think a future interaction between Sage and Shadow the Hedgehog has a lot of potential, but as for Maria, she is a very tragic character whose life and death carries a lot of weight in the Sonic universe, and we are gonna learn a lot more about her in Sonic X Shadow Generations. But we also have some dangerous enemies returning in Sonic X Shadow Generations. Click one of the videos on screen right now to find out who Black Doom or Metal Overlord is. Thank you for watching. I'll see you there. Like and subscribe.